Every man and woman lives in two worlds, the world that is and the world that could be. Most people stay chained to the first. But those who dare to reinvent themselves, who take control of the unseen habits that shape their destiny, awaken the second. Reinvention does not come in a lightning bolt. It comes in drops, small, consistent habits that seem trivial in the moment, yet powerful enough to rewrite the entire story of your life. Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with a truth that has echoed across every age of human progress. You are never trapped where you are. No condition is permanent. No circumstance final. Reinvention is always available, but it does not arrive dressed in grandeur. It hides itself in the smallest of habits, waiting for the disciplined soul to claim it. The morning alignment. There is a moment each day when the world has not yet made its demands, when the noise of responsibility has not yet drowned out the quiet voice within you, and when the canvas of the day lies untouched before you. This is the moment of alignment, the time when you claim authority over your mind, body, and spirit before you step into the chaos of the world. The habit of beginning each morning with purpose is not a trivial indulgence. It is the cornerstone of reinvention. It is a practice that separates those who merely survive from those who command their destiny. Consider for a moment how most people awaken. The alarm rings, a groan escapes, and before even opening their eyes, they are already pulled into a torrent of tasks, messages, obligations, and distractions. The mind has no anchor, the spirit has no direction, and the body moves as a vessel for external demands rather than an instrument of personal power. In contrast, the individual who practices morning alignment rises with intention. Even before the world presents its challenges, they have staked a claim over their internal state, declaring silently but firmly, "I will lead myself today." The morning alignment begins with stillness. It may be only a few minutes of quiet reflection, a moment to breathe deeply, to feel the pulse of life within, and to remind oneself that the power to shape the day lies within your own hands. This is not an act of vanity. It is an act of mastery. In those quiet moments, your mind finds clarity, your heart finds calm, and your spirit reconnects to the sense of purpose that will carry you through the day. Even 5 minutes of such intentional stillness can reprogram your outlook, transforming the ordinary into opportunity and the mundane into meaningful action. Gratitude is the second pillar of morning alignment. To awaken and focus immediately on what is lacking is to begin the day in debt to fear and dissatisfaction. To awaken and acknowledge the blessings, however small, is to ignite a force that multiplies endlessly. A simple practice of identifying 3 things you are grateful for each morning trains the mind to recognize abundance, cultivates optimism, and fortifies resilience. Gratitude is a declaration to yourself you are alive, you have resources, and you have control over how you perceive life. It is impossible to face challenges with despair when you have anchored your mind in acknowledgement of what is already working in your favor. Intentionality is the third component. Once you have claimed stillness and recognized what you appreciate, you must set the tone for action. A deliberate statement of purpose, a personal affirmation, a visualization of what you intend to achieve, or a commitment to embody a quality you aspire to, aligns your energy with your goals. This is the act of programming your mind for the day. Your thoughts, once aligned, act as magnets, drawing circumstances, decisions, and interactions toward the reality you desire. Without this alignment, your mind drifts, vulnerable to distraction and indecision. With it, every step carries direction and authority. Morning alignment also affects the body. When the mind is intentionally focused, the body follows with energy and coordination. Simple stretches, mindful breathing, or even walking in stillness awaken the senses, improve circulation, and enhance the ability to respond rather than react to challenges. The connection between mind and body is strengthened in these morning rituals. creating a foundation of vitality that propels you through even the most demanding of days. Finally, the morning alignment is a statement of sovereignty. It is a declaration that you are the captain of your life, not a passenger carried by circumstance. It teaches that mastery begins with discipline, that small, consistent actions shape character, and that the first victories of the day are claimed not in public arenas, but in the quiet chambers of your own mind. Those who master this micro-habit find that the world no longer dictates their day. Instead, they move through it with purpose, clarity, and confidence. And with every morning, they reinforce the version of themselves they are determined to become. Fool your temple, your body is not simply a vehicle to carry you through life. It is the temple in which your spirit resides, the vessel through which your dreams are realized, and the instrument through which you engage the world. Yet far too many people treat this sacred structure carelessly, assuming that small, seemingly insignificant choices about nourishment, hydration, and care have little impact. They forget that the quality of the fuel you provide determines the energy, clarity, and resilience you carry into every moment. Reinvention is impossible without honoring the temple that houses your ambitions. Feeding and caring for your body is not indulgence, it is strategy, discipline, and the foundation of personal power. Consider how a machine behaves when it is poorly maintained. The gears grind, the engine sputters, and eventually, it fails to perform even the simplest tasks. Your body responds in the same way. When you neglect hydration, consume processed or empty foods, or ignore the signals of fatigue and stress, you create resistance within yourself. Energy diminishes, focus wavers, and your capacity to take decisive action erodes. On the other hand, deliberate attention to what you consume and how you nourish yourself creates momentum that radiates across every aspect of life. Each conscious choice is a declaration that you value your existence, that you respect the capabilities with which you have been endowed, and that you refuse to surrender to mediocrity or neglect. Hydration is the first, simplest, and often most overlooked pillar of fueling your temple. The body is composed largely of water, and even mild dehydration can cloud the mind, weaken resolve, and reduce physical performance. Drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning is not a trivial ritual, it is a small act with immediate and compounding benefits. It awakens the body, flushes toxins, and communicates to your mind that the day begins with intention, care, and attention to the vessel that carries your soul. This simple act, repeated daily, sets the tone for a pattern of respect for yourself and your capabilities. The second pillar is nourishment. Food is more than sustenance. It is the source of energy, resilience, and mental clarity. Choosing foods that fuel your body rather than numb it is a form of self-respect and empowerment. Fresh fruits, vegetables, whole grains, proteins, and healthy fats are not merely ingredients, they are the building blocks of endurance, creativity, and strength. Eating mindfully, with awareness of how each choice impacts your body, sharpens the mind and fortifies determination. It is not about perfection, it is about consistency. About choosing to honor the temple that carries you forward into the life you are determined to create. Movement and care for the body are extensions of this micro-habit. Fueling the temple is not only about what enters it, but also about how it is maintained. Gentle stretches, brief walks, or even a few moments of physical engagement activate circulation, increase energy, and deepen the connection between mind and body. The individual who practices this awareness understands that the body responds to attention, care, and respect with vitality, resilience, and endurance. Every deliberate act of nourishment is an act of investment in the self, a statement that you are worthy of your dreams, and a refusal to settle for diminished capacity or wasted potential. Mindfulness in this practice is critical. Eating while distracted, consuming harmful substances, or ignoring the signals of hunger and fatigue disconnects you from your temple. By contrast, Deliberate attention transforms routine habits into rituals of strength. Each choice you make, from the water you drink to the meals you prepare, from the rest you prioritize to the care you give your body, is a brick in the foundation of reinvention. The strength of your mind, your resilience in challenges, and the clarity of your vision are directly tied to how faithfully you fuel your temple. When you embrace this micro habit, you begin to realize that reinvention is not a distant goal, but a daily practice. Each conscious choice of nourishment, hydration, and care multiplies, creating energy, focus, and stamina that flow into your work, your relationships, and your dreams. To fuel your temple is to honor your potential, strengthen your resolve, and send a message to the world that you are committed to becoming the best version of yourself. Movement is medicine. The human body is not meant to remain idle. It is designed for motion, for flow, for activity that challenges it, strengthens it, and reminds it of its own vitality. Yet in today's world, too many of us have traded movement for convenience, sitting for hours, numbing our muscles, and ignoring the signals that demand attention and care. Movement is more than physical exercise. It is medicine for the body, clarity for the mind, and empowerment for the spirit. To embrace this micro habit is to declare that you will not allow stagnation to dictate your energy, your health, or your ability to pursue your dreams. Movement begins with intention. You do not need a gym, fancy equipment, or hours of free time. Even the simplest acts, a brisk walk around the block, stretching while the sun rises, climbing a flight of stairs, can awaken the body and ignite energy that carries through your day. What matters is consistency and purpose. Each act of motion sends a signal to your mind and body that you are alive, that you care about your health, and that you refuse to surrender to the slow erosion of inactivity. These small, deliberate movements are more than physical actions. They are declarations that you respect the temple of your body and recognize its role in shaping the quality of your life. The benefits of movement extend far beyond the physical. When the body is in motion, blood flows, oxygen circulates, and the brain receives signals that heighten focus, creativity, and resilience. Movement is the bridge between energy and action, between intention and achievement. When you engage your body, you awaken dormant reserves of strength, courage, and determination. The simple act of walking or stretching may seem insignificant, yet over time, these actions compound into stamina, endurance, and vitality that transform not only the body, but the mind's capacity to act decisively. Movement also provides clarity and emotional balance. In moments of stress, fatigue, or overwhelm, stepping away from inertia and moving the body becomes a reset button for the mind. A short walk, mindful stretching, or even deep breathing combined with gentle motion relieves tension, sharpens focus, and restores perspective. The challenges of life, which may have seemed insurmountable in the stillness of worry, appear manageable when the body is engaged, energized, and aligned. This is why the habit of movement is not simply physical. It is a tool of mental mastery, a means to cultivate emotional resilience and strategic thinking. Consistency is the key. Movement does not demand grand gestures, it demands repeated effort. The person who dedicates 10 minutes a day to walking or stretching builds a momentum that multiplies over weeks, months, and years. Energy increases, posture improves, metabolism strengthens, and the mind becomes sharper. The smallest movements, performed with intention, accumulate into habits that support long-term well-being and provide a foundation for reinvention. Every step, every stretch, every breath and motion contributes silently but powerfully to the version of yourself you are determined to become. Movement also serves as a metaphor for life itself. Just as the body cannot thrive in stillness, neither can your dreams, ambitions, or personal growth. To remain idle in thought or action is to invite stagnation. To embrace movement, no matter how small, is to affirm that you will continue to grow, continue to push boundaries, and continue to expand your potential. Each movement is an investment in your future, a commitment to self-care, and a powerful statement that you refuse to be limited by lethargy, excuses, or fear. Ultimately, movement is a form of empowerment. It teaches discipline, cultivates resilience, and connects mind and body in ways that transform energy into action. The person who honors this micro-habit discovers that the temple of their body is not a passive vessel, but an active partner in reinvention. Each day of movement strengthens the foundation upon which dreams are built, fueling not just the body, but the courage, focus, and determination necessary to pursue the life they are destined to lead. Guard your mind's door. The mind is the control center of your existence. Every decision, every emotion, every action flows from the thoughts you allow to inhabit it. Yet far too often, we leave this most precious domain unguarded, allowing negativity, doubt, and destructive influences to enter unchallenged. The result is chaos within, confusion without, and a weakening of the very foundation upon which success, peace, and reinvention are built. To guard your mind's door is to take the reins of your destiny, to choose which thoughts to nurture, and to protect the inner sanctuary where your dreams, clarity, and courage reside. Consider the mind as a garden. If left untended, weeds of fear, resentment, and pessimism take root and choke out the flowers of hope, gratitude, and determination. Just as a gardener must carefully select what seeds to plant and which intruders to remove, you must actively curate the thoughts, images, and conversations that occupy your mental landscape. The person who masters this micro-habit recognizes that every thought is a choice. Every idea has consequence, and every moment of attention is an investment in the quality of life they are building. Guarding the mind is not about avoidance. It is about discernment. It is the conscious decision to allow only what serves, strengthens, and elevates you to remain within the walls of your consciousness. This habit begins with awareness. Too often, the mind drifts, wandering without guidance, absorbing every stimulus, whether empowering or harmful. Social media, negative conversations, self-criticism, and doubt can seep in unnoticed, shaping emotions and decisions without consent. By cultivating awareness, you begin to recognize the subtle intrusions that sabotage energy and focus. Awareness is the first line of defense. It alerts you to what is entering your mental space and allows you to respond rather than react. The second step is selective engagement. Guarding the mind does not mean isolating it from reality. It means choosing with intention. You must actively consume material that inspires, educates, and uplifts. Read books that expand your vision. Listen to voices that challenge you constructively. And surround yourself with people who believe in growth. Each exposure to empowering ideas strengthens your mental muscles, while each avoidance of toxic content prevents decay of focus and courage. What enters your mind shapes your perceptions, decisions, and ultimately your life. Self-talk is another critical frontier. The words you speak to yourself carry enormous power. A single negative phrase repeated daily can erode confidence, weaken resolve, and imprison potential. Conversely, affirmations, encouragement, and deliberate positive dialogue fortify your spirit, sharpen focus, and cultivate resilience. Guarding the mind requires vigilance over the internal conversation, ensuring that it serves as a source of strength rather than a weapon of self-sabotage. This micro-habit also extends to emotional boundaries. You cannot control the behavior of others, but you can control how their actions and words affect your mental state. By refusing to internalize unnecessary negativity, gossip, or criticism, you protect your mind from unnecessary erosion. Emotional discipline is not suppression. It is the intelligent management of energy, ensuring that every thought and feeling contributes to growth rather than distraction. The benefits of guarding your mind are profound. Clarity replaces confusion, focus replaces distraction, and energy replaces exhaustion. Your thoughts become tools, not obstacles, and your imagination transforms into a launching pad for creation rather than a cage of doubt. Each day spent actively protecting your mental domain compounds over time, creating a fortress of resilience and an unshakable foundation for reinvention. The person who masters this micro habit discovers that the mind is not a passive receiver of circumstance. It is a dynamic instrument of power, capable of shaping reality itself. By guarding your mind's door, you claim authority over the single most important aspect of reinvention. You cultivate thought patterns that amplify strength, vision, and courage. You refuse to allow negativity, doubt, or distraction to define your actions. You become the architect of your internal landscape, ensuring that what grows within the mind is fertile, intentional, and aligned with the highest version of yourself. In this way, the mind becomes both shield and sword, protecting your potential and enabling the pursuit of everything you aspire to achieve. The evening reset. As the day draws to a close, most people collapse under the weight of unfinished tasks, regrets, and mental clutter. They carry the residue of mistakes, frustrations, and unresolved emotions into the night, only to wake the next morning burdened by the same chaos. Yet the disciplined individual understands that the evening is not a time to surrender. It is a critical opportunity to reclaim control, to release what no longer serves, and to prepare the mind, body, and spirit for the next day of intentional living. The evening reset is a micro-habit that transforms ordinary nights into powerful rituals of growth, clarity, and renewal. The first step in this habit is reflection. Reflection is not mere rumination or dwelling on the negative. It is an intentional assessment of the day's events, decisions, and actions. What went well? What could have been done differently? Where did you exercise discipline? And where did you yield to distraction? By engaging in honest reflection, you illuminate the patterns of your behavior, revealing both strengths to build upon and areas in need of improvement. This process allows the mind to process experience consciously rather than letting it fester subconsciously, freeing emotional and mental energy that might otherwise be drained by unresolved thoughts. The second step is release. Just as a river cannot flow freely if blocked by debris, the mind cannot operate at peak efficiency if it clings to yesterday's failures, criticism, or disappointment. The evening reset involves the deliberate act of letting go, acknowledging mistakes, forgiving yourself for imperfections, and releasing emotional baggage that serves no constructive purpose. This is not avoidance, it is liberation. It is a declaration that while the past has shaped you, it does not define you, and that the next day can be approached with clarity, energy, and renewed focus. Releasing what no longer serves you creates space for opportunity, growth, and creativity to enter your life unimpeded. Gratitude is an essential companion to reflection and release. Before sleep, identifying even small moments of appreciation, whether for a supportive friend, a lesson learned, or a personal achievement, rewires the mind to focus on abundance rather than deficiency. Gratitude nurtures optimism, reduces stress, and enhances emotional resilience, ensuring that the mind is calm, grounded, and open to the possibilities of tomorrow. When paired with reflection and release, gratitude transforms the evening into a powerful ritual that strengthens both the mind and the spirit, cultivating a sense of fulfillment that transcends daily chaos. The evening reset also includes preparation. By reviewing priorities for the following day, setting intentions, and visualizing desired outcomes, you prime your subconscious to act with purpose. This simple act aligns focus, energizes motivation, and eliminates the chaos of waking unprepared. When the mind knows the objectives, when the spirit is aligned with intention, and when the body is rested, action becomes decisive, challenges become manageable, and opportunities are recognized rather than missed. Preparation at night is not merely a practical step, it is a statement of personal authority over time, circumstance, and energy. Finally, the evening reset extends to the physical body. Sleep is not a passive state, but an active period of restoration, and the rituals that precede it, gentle stretching, deep breathing, and relaxation, enhance recovery, clarity, and resilience. By consciously transitioning from the activity of the day into restorative stillness, you honor the body as the temple of your ambitions, ensuring that energy is replenished, focus is sharpened, and the mind is ready to create again tomorrow. The cumulative power of this micro-habit is extraordinary. The individual who engages in daily evening reset moves through life with clarity, emotional balance, and an unshakable sense of preparedness. Reflection, release, gratitude, preparation, and restoration become the pillars upon which personal reinvention is built, silently reshaping character, focus, and destiny. By practicing this ritual consistently, you transform ordinary nights into extraordinary tools of growth, ensuring that every dawn begins not with chaos, but with intention, energy, and a renewed commitment to becoming the person you aspire to be. Reinvention is not achieved in moments of inspiration alone. It is not the result of rare bursts of motivation or fleeting enthusiasm. The true architects of change understand a truth often ignored. Transformation is born from consistency. Every action, no matter how small, compounds when repeated day after day. Habits, behaviors, and choices, when performed with relentless persistence, shape character, define destiny, and create results far greater than any single effort could achieve. Consistency is the invisible engine behind every extraordinary life. Consider the individual who aspires to mastery in any field. They may study, practice, or train in small increments, seemingly insignificant on a day-to-day basis. Yet these small increments accumulate. Each repetition, each deliberate action, layers upon the last, creating momentum that is unstoppable over time. Just as water slowly erodes the hardest stone, consistent effort quietly but powerfully shapes the course of your life. The person who masters consistency is the person who refuses to be dictated by temporary setbacks, who keeps moving even when progress seems invisible, and who understands that small, disciplined actions repeated faithfully are the real measure of greatness. Consistency cultivates discipline, and discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. It teaches the mind and the body to align with purpose, creating automatic pathways for success. When you practice a habit consistently, whether it is waking early, exercising, journaling, or protecting your mind, you reduce the energy required to perform it. It becomes second nature. Over time, these micro habits combine, forming a structure of strength, resilience, and focus that supports every aspiration. The seemingly small choices of today become the unshakable foundation of tomorrow. Emotional stability is another gift of consistency. The world is unpredictable, filled with distractions, failures, and obstacles that threaten to derail even the most ambitious individuals. Yet a consistent practice provides stability, a reliable anchor in turbulent times. It builds confidence because each repetition reinforces capability. Each day you act according to principle. Each time you honor a commitment to yourself, you prove again and again that you are dependable, not only to others, but to the most important person in your life, yourself. This self-reliance is the fuel of courage and the bedrock of reinvention. Consistency also shapes perception. Those who witness the power of persistence often mistake it for luck, talent, or innate genius. They fail to see the countless hours, the daily commitment, the accumulation of small victories that silently pave the way for success. The disciplined individual does not seek recognition for each step. They understand that the real reward is internal, the development of character, resilience, and skill that grows quietly but inexorably. Over time, consistency becomes a force so powerful that it attracts opportunities, builds influence, and generates results that seem almost magical to the uninitiated. Yet consistency is not blind repetition. It is purposeful, intentional, and aligned with clear goals. It is not doing anything repeatedly, but doing the right things repeatedly with focus, awareness, and self-discipline. Each day offers the chance to refine, improve, and strengthen your practice, ensuring that your efforts compound intelligently rather than haphazardly. This intelligent persistence differentiates those who drift through life from those who intentionally sculpt their future. Ultimately, the power of consistency lies in its ability to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. The smallest, disciplined actions, performed without fail, become unstoppable forces when compounded over time. Consistency is the bridge between aspiration and achievement, the mechanism through which micro-habits manifest as mastery, and the invisible architect that constructs the life you desire. Every day you honor this principle, every action performed with dedication strengthens the trajectory of your reinvention, quietly yet powerfully shaping a version of yourself that once seemed impossible to reach. The mastery of reflection. Reflection is the quiet force that distinguishes those who live consciously from those who drift through life. It is the process of examining your actions, thoughts, and emotions with honesty, clarity, and purpose. Without reflection, even the most disciplined habits and the most consistent efforts can become mechanical, losing their transformative power. The mastery of reflection allows you to understand not only what you are doing, but why you are doing it, revealing insights that refine every decision, every action, and every aspiration. It is the mirror through which your progress, character, and potential are revealed. The first step in reflection is presence. To reflect effectively, you must step away from distraction, silence the noise of external demands, and turn your attention inward. This is not a passive exercise, it is an active engagement with your inner world, a deliberate inquiry into your choices, behaviors, and mindset. Presence enables you to observe without judgment, to see patterns without distortion, and to recognize both strengths and weaknesses. It is the act of standing still in a world that constantly moves, creating a space in which true insight can flourish. Honesty is the second pillar of mastery. Reflection is meaningless if it is clouded by self-deception, denial, or excuses. You must confront your actions, your failures, and your shortcomings with courage. Where did you fall short today? Where did you allow fear, procrastination, or doubt to dictate your behavior? Simultaneously, you must acknowledge what you did well, where your discipline held, and where your intentions aligned with your actions. Honest reflection reveals the gap between who you are and who you aspire to be, providing the guidance necessary to close it. It transforms experience into wisdom and effort into growth. The third aspect is learning. Reflection is not simply remembering, it is analyzing, extracting lessons, and converting them into actionable insight. Each day presents countless opportunities to learn from success, failure, and even the seemingly mundane. The person who masters reflection asks, "What can I take from today to improve tomorrow?" They identify recurring patterns, understand what strategies work, and discern which behaviors undermine progress. This learning becomes the fuel for reinvention, a roadmap that continually guides the journey of self-improvement. Reflection also strengthens emotional intelligence. By examining your responses to challenges, criticism, and relationships, you gain insight into the triggers that shape your emotions and behaviors. You begin to see how fear, anger, or impatience influences decisions, and you develop the ability to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Emotional awareness cultivated through reflection deepens empathy, improves communication, and enhances the ability to navigate life's complexities with composure and clarity. Another critical element is visualization. Reflection is not only backward-looking, it informs the future. By contemplating your day, you can envision the life you want, the habits you need to cultivate, and the person you are becoming. This intentional foresight connects reflection with action. ensuring that insights are not left as abstract ideas, but are transformed into practical steps that shape tomorrow. The mind, trained through reflection, becomes a precision instrument capable of aligning intention, behavior, and outcome with remarkable efficiency. Finally, reflection reinforces gratitude and humility, recognizing the lessons embedded in challenges, acknowledging the support of others, and appreciating incremental progress cultivates a mindset that embraces growth rather than entitlement. It reminds you that reinvention is a journey, not a destination, and that mastery emerges through continuous observation, adjustment, and learning. Those who practice reflection consistently develop clarity, resilience, and vision, equipping themselves to navigate life with purpose, confidence, and unwavering commitment to becoming the best version of themselves. Mastering reflection transforms ordinary experiences into extraordinary opportunities for growth. It illuminates the path forward, strengthens self-awareness, and cultivates wisdom that guides every action. The individual who embraces this principle discovers that life's greatest teacher is not circumstance, fortune, or fate. It is the deliberate examination of self, repeated faithfully, that shapes character, decisions, and destiny. Reflection becomes the engine of reinvention, silently but powerfully constructing the person you are capable of becoming. So today, make the choice to step into your reinvention. Guard your mind, nourish your body, move with intention, reset each evening, reflect deeply, and act consistently. Do not wait for the perfect moment, for perfection is an illusion. Begin now. Begin small. Begin with faith in your ability to evolve. Every day, every habit, every thought compounds, building the life you once only imagined. Remember this: greatness is not given, it is cultivated. Transformation is not accidental, it is deliberate. Reinvention is not optional, it is your birthright. Stand firm, act with courage, and commit to the path of continual growth. Your future self is waiting, not in some distant horizon, but in the actions you take today. Claim it, own it, reinvent yourself.